Now the arterial supply, venous supply of the middle ear cavity. There are total 6 set of the arteries that supply the middle ear cavity, out of which 2 are the major branches, while the 4 are the small or the minor branches. If you see the major branches, one is the stylomastoid branch of the posterior auricular artery. This stylomastoid branch enters through the stylomastoid foramen, the same foramen where the facial nerve comes out. And the second branch, it is the anterior tympanic branch of the maxillary artery. It is a branch of the first part of the maxillary artery that enters through the medial end of the petrotympanic fascia. So these are the 2 major branches that supply the middle ear cavity as well as the tympanic membrane. The minor branches, it is the branches of the middle meningeal artery. This itself branch of the maxillary artery. It is the superior tympanic branch that enters through the anterior wall. That is where the tensor tympani muscle is present. And the petrosal branch that enters through the hiatus of the petrosal nerve and supply the middle ear cavity. Then it is the branch from the artery of the pterygoid canal, and it is the branch of the internal carotid artery, that is the caroticotympanic branch. So these are the 4 minor branches, and these are the 2 major branches that supply the tympanic cavity. Now if you see the venous drainage, the veins from the middle ear cavity goes into the pterygoid venous plexus, as well as it drains into the superior pectoral sinus. If you see the nerve supply, it is the meningeal plexus. It is the tympanic. It is the tympanic plexus. This tympanic plexus, formed by the tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal nerve, as well as the caroticotympanic branch of the sympathetic plexus around the internal carotid artery, they form the tympanic plexus, rest on the promontory and supply sensory to the tympanic cavity, mastoid antrum, auditory tube. With the lymphatic drainage from the middle ear cavity. This lymphatic drainage drains into the retropharyngeal group of the lymph nodes. Retropharyngeal group of the lymph nodes. These lymph nodes are situated behind the pharynx. Some lymph nodes drains into the parotid group of the lymph nodes. Parotid lymph nodes embedded in the parotid gland, and some lymphatics drains into the deep cervical group of the lymph nodes. So these are the lymphatic drainage in the retropharyngeal, parotid group of the lymph node, and the upper deep cervical, that is the jugulo-digestive group of the lymph nodes, where the lymphatics from the middle ear cavity drains. Now brief about the tensor tympani muscles and the stapedius muscles. Both are present in the middle ear cavity. This tensor tympani muscles, as we know, it is present in the anterior wall, and this muscles is derived from the first arch, while the stapedius muscles, it is derived from the second arch. This tensor tympani muscles is attached to the handle of the malleus. While this stapedius is attached to the neck of the stapes. This tensor tympani muscles is supplied by branch from mandibular nerve. that is the nerve to medial pterygoid. Nerve to medial pterygoid that supply the medial pterygoid muscles as well as tensor tympani muscles and another muscles. What is the name of this another muscles? Now this is stapedius. It is supplied by, it is the nerve of the second arch, so it is supplied by the facial nerve. This tensor tympani muscles, name indicates its function, it tends the tympanic membrane. It pulls the head of the malleus, handle of the malleus medially and tends the tympanic membrane, while the stapedius, it pulls the stapes. Lateral. Now this tensor tympani and the stapedius muscles contact reflexively and simultaneously. And they damping effect on the large sound, and they protect the internal ear from the damaging of the noise by this damping effect. In case of paralysis or loss of function of the stapedius, we have discussed in the facial nerve, it leads to the hyperacusis. In the hyperacusis, a whispering appears like a noise. Due to the loss of this effect. Now the applied aspect of the tympanic cavity. The infection of the middle ear, that is known as the otitis media, which is most common in the children. This may be the acute or the chronic. Now, the infection of the middle ear can be a source of the spread of the infection in the various regions and leads to the various complications. If we spread backwards into the mastoid antrum, it is the mastoiditis. It is spread upwards towards the pectus temporal bone, it is the pectositis, and then it leads to the meningitis. As we know, the floor is related with the sigmoid sinus. If we inflate the sigmoid sinus, then it is the sigmoid sinus thrombosis. Then, if it is spread into the internal ear, it is the labyrinthitis. And if it is spread through the tegmen tympani posteromedially, then it leads to the brain abscess formation. So it is the infection of the middle ear can spread and cause the following related complications. This is about the middle ear and its applied aspect. Thank you very much.